Well, hello there, humans, hippies, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and whoever you're lucky enough to be doing it to. I'm Bushka Blitz, back with another dose of tanking love in the form of the LTTB. And I'll tell you right now, it's going to get awfully hot and sweaty in here because I've got myself a little bit of passion for this Russian Tier 7 monster. As always, this is a Patreon-sponsored post. The reason there are these videos going up is because the patrons exist, they sponsor these videos, and without them, the channel would be dust in the wind. So if you're considering sponsoring the channel, please do click on the link just here, and it'll take you away to Patreon land where we do exclusive videos, boot camps, training rooms, voice chats, all of that kind of thing. Telegram channel, it's great, great, great fun. Now, without further ado, let me talk to you about my new must-have love affair. And this thing, oh, goody, goody gumdrops. When I first had a look at the Russian line on the test server for the Wargaming Humans to do a video on it, I was more excited about the T-54 Lightweight. Because obviously, that's got a lot of stuff going for it in the form of a light tank with a little bit of armor. This is the one, though, that has captured my affections. This is my paramour. This is the one that keeps me up late at nights, stalking the boards, looking for a game in the Tier 7 light tank. Even more so than my good old mate, the Comet. The LTTB just has an awful lot going for it, and not a whole lot of downsides. And I want to talk to you about a few of the tips, the tricks, the things that it can do really well, and the reasons why it works so fantastically. Not the least of which is that with this change to one-to-one matchmaking, it doesn't see the big-ass Tier 9 tanks that it used to. So it allows you to do a very, very sneaky little thing, which is something that Swiss Cheesel actually pointed me in the right direction with this thing. I run the second gun, the 85mm DST 85BM. Now, there's a reason behind that. It's pretty straightforward, actually. It's got lower pen. Its pen is only 144mm on its AP and 194 on its Pramo, as opposed to the 170mm and 216mm of pen on the AP and the Pramo you get respectively on the D1085. But you can't run a vertical stabilizer on this tank, which is a big issue. And the D1085, although it has a lovely pen, is actually slightly inferior in terms of rate of fire. This is obviously an important thing when you're putting out damage per minute, and its aim time is massively inferior. 2.5 seconds on the D1085 versus the 2.1 seconds on the 85BM. Now that's 0.4 of a second, which is nearly, in fact, 20% better in terms of an aim time. And when you can't run a vertical stabilizer, having an aim time that's nearly half a second quicker is bloody important. Not to mention the fact that the gun also gives you an extra 3 degrees of gun depression. You can get 8 degrees of gun depression on the second gun in the line. You only get 5 degrees of gun depression on the top gun in the line. So if you notice, I'm running in all these videos pretty much the second top gun, which has a much, much shorter barrel. The other gun looks a lot like a Panther. Now, the much shorter barrel is neither here nor there, but the thing that makes this tank is it turns into a gun depression tank, which can take advantage of inclines and slight raises in the ground. So it's got that amazing camouflage. It's got incredible mobility. Honest to God, the mobility on this thing has to be seen to be believed. And it has a much better aim time. So because you don't see Tier 9s anymore and you're only seeing Tier 8s, Tier 7s and Tier 6s, you can get away with a little bit less pen. Not the least of the positives in this as well is that because you have a faster rate of fire, you can permatrack tanks more easily. And you can see here, I'm permatracking a Nameless as he tries to come over and grab me on the Desert Sands map. Now, because you're a light tank, and I'm going to reiterate this as I always do in light tank videos, if you're driving a light tank, you have full camouflage while you're moving, and that's the key. That's what makes these tanks go so very, very well. So you can be driving along at 70 kilometers an hour, and you've got as much camouflage as just about the best tank in the game, sitting dead still and not moving. That's a very, very, very potent weapon. And once you get used to driving tanks like this, That's the weapon that you take the most advantage of. Now, speed is important. Oh, you're going to love this. Look at that. Do not ram things. If you ram stuff in this tank, you're going to get wrecked, as I did just there. Speed on this thing is just phenomenal. You're going to get out there at almost 70 kilometers an hour as a stock. Downhill, you'll get over 70. 20 kilometers an hour in reverse. You have a whopping big power to weight ratio. You've got fantastic mobility. It power slides all over the joint. You can see that I'm using HE on that little monster. It's great at on the move firing. It just does everything so well. And using that second gun, giving it 8 degrees of gun depression, wowzers. That is just such a game changer because it allows you to hit more shots, aim less, and being a camo tank, you can actually get shots off from stealth. So you reset your camo, you get your shot off from stealth, you then reset your camo again, go and get your shot off from stealth again, and that means that you get to aim the gun. So the penetration isn't such a big deal. Where the gun really falls down when you've got the 2.5 second aim time thing is when you're actually brawling and dogfighting. It can be a bit of a tough one at times. 2.5 seconds. Now, I'm not saying you can't succeed with the other one, but the big kicker is obviously gun depression. You don't have to expose your tank as much to actually put shots in as you do with 5 degrees of gun depression. To give you some practical examples, the T-54 is a tank that has 5 degrees of gun depression. You probably know how difficult it is in that tank to actually get shots off. Opposed to, say, a T-110E5, which is another well-known American tank, a big heavy tank, but albeit it's a heavy tank, it's a hull-down tank, and it has 8 degrees of gun depression, which makes it a lot easier. So when you're driving along and you hit a slight bump in the ground, if you've got 5 degrees of gun depression, you may not actually be able to get the gun down to the target, even if you've got your auto aim switched on, whatever. Obviously, being this light, it can get up hills. I mean, you can see Swiss and myself jumping up the hill on mines here, loving life, living large. You've seen lots of spotting runs. You've seen a brawl. Snake Eyes with a great Kolobanov on Fort Despair there. It's, oh mate, it lights my fire. There's something to be said for light tanks. Okay, so in general, I talked about the MT25 yesterday when I posted the review on that. And people are a bit down on the MT25, and be that as it may, that's not what we hear about. What we hear about is light tanks have two things nearly universal right now. They've got excellent camo. They've got that incredible on-the-move camo, but they've got flat-out good camo ratings. And they've also got outstanding speed. Now, that allows you to, and I've said it before, and I mean, obviously, if you've listened to a lot of videos on this channel, you'd know, and watch this, power slides, woo, love it. It allows you to have an idea in game, see something as an opportunity, and then turn around and make it happen. You can't do that in a V-tank, in a heavy tank, and it makes that possible, and then you can bring fantastic firepower and gun depression and speed to the battle really, really quickly. And you can see in this, we've moved very quickly down here to put firepower to bear, and we've angled the front of our tank quite severely so that there's a good chance if they hit that upper glacis, they're going to actually bounce. Now, the armor is not to be relied upon. It's certainly not a strong armor profile. But what it does have going for it is those typical light tank traits. And all you need in a light tank that's already got those top-notch attributes is just a couple of other little special parts, like 8 degrees of gun depression. I mean, that's a little bit better aim time. Those are the things that make up for all the other music. And this thing has fantastic firepower too. I mean, it really does. You've got 200 alpha. You've got just over 9 rounds a minute as stock standard before you put your rammer on. And I run it with a rammer, vents, and optics, by the way. You can't run a V-stab, and that would probably make it overpowered. But the fact that it's got rammer, vent, and optics, and the fact that it absolutely fishtails and drifts everywhere, I mean, you can legitimately look at it. It's so good. Get me excited. I've got a little bit excited. I got to calm down. Got to calm down. But this is my new Comet. I am absolutely blown away by this thing. It puts thought into practice. It just is. It's everything you could want. It is the best tank in the line. Now, I'm going to be reviewing the not the LTTB. I'm going to be reviewing the T54 lightweight probably tomorrow. And I've got to tell you, that's going to be a glowing review too. I think that's an outstanding tank. But I think this is the best tank in the line. And it's not got the best armor or any of that, even though it does occasionally bounce a shot. It's the best tank in the line because it's so mobile. It's incredibly mobile. Its pickup, I've not road tested it, but I think its pickups is quick, if not quicker, than any other tank out there. I mean, you'll do 55, 60 Ks up one of the hills in mines. It's just absolutely phenomenal the way it moves. And its firepower is more than enough to get it working. The 85mm works a treat because of the changes to matchmaking. Light tanks don't suffer on PC like they do on PC, where they actually fight tanks that are way above them, and they're well out of their weight class, and they just can't pen them. You can see there, it's so quick. I've gone over that bump, and I just wasn't prepared for it, and it's tracked me. I mean, this happens all the time. You've got to get used to driving a tank with this much under the bonnet. It is like an absolutely wild stallion. You're out there. It wants to charge, it wants to run. You've got to go slow over hills or it will go flying. And you're going to see here, this is light tank exploitation and abuse. This is how you do it. You get out in the flank, you get side shots on big heavy tanks, you use that little bush ahead of you to help with the resetting the camo. You don't move, don't stop moving at all, because obviously the other joy of light tanks, the fact that your camo is just as good on the move as it is while stationary. And you can see here, I know there's a big ass tog in that field. I'm going to keep pumping shots in there and resetting the cap, and if I can't see him, then I'll move forward, get another view, and I've been unspotted because I'm obviously got amazing camo. There's that gun depression, 8 degrees of gun depression on the second gun. Wouldn't get that shot at all on the first gun. And shot creation is a huge part of a light tank's arsenal. You have to be able to create shots. It's one of the reasons why the VK gets an extra degree of gun depression on the MT25, and that's so important, because shot creation is actual damage per minute. Having potential damage per minute on an autoloader or on a gun with no gun depression is all well and good, but you've got to put yourself in situations where that works. And when you've got good gun depression, amazing camo, amazing mobility, solid DPM, that's when you can start putting it all to practice. And you can see how easy it's been this game to just play smart, play solid, constantly reset the camo, use the camouflage around me, use that mobility, that speed, and just thump. Just absolutely belt the reds. Get it, get it, get it, get it. If you're not getting it now, get it tomorrow. This is the tank you need to run. If you don't know how to run light tanks, right now I'd go VK2801, LTTB, and T54 lightweight. Those three tanks are the three light tanks you want at each tier, in my opinion. And that's saying something, because the SP1C is a special tank as well, and the RU251 is something absolutely lightning and great fun to drive. But I think those are my three light tanks. Light tanks are not the easiest to drive. I've put so many videos out there on lights. Please go and watch them. The Bushka on Blitz.com webpage has a game improvement section. It's chock full of light tank videos. Go and check them out. You'll find you'll be better for it. So there you go, boys and girls. That's the LTTB. I'm gushing, I'm blushing, I am all bloody well over it. As always, this is a patron-sponsored post. If you'd like to become a patron, if you'd like to hang out in the chat channel with the rest of us idiots, talk on the voice chat, attend the training rooms, there's one on tonight, in fact, for the Asia server, get a hold of the private sponsors-only section of bushkaonblitz.com, then click the link here, sign up, and be on your merry way. For the rest of us, all the random hippies, humans, and earthlings, I love you. I hope you appreciate what the patrons are doing, and I hope you keep coming back, because I'm really, really excited about the community we've got here and the good people that are in it. Look after your families, team, and stay safe on the battlefield.